Hello, hello. Ooh. Hello, hello. This is Mary testing the live stream. Can you hear me? Can you acknowledge that I am here and I am embarrassing myself on the internet? All good? Good stuff. Okie dokie. We should be streaming. We should be. Okie dokie. Welcome to LSJDrive time with me, Mary.
Slight delay.
Just a minor delay there, but it's okay. That's quite a long delay actually, but it's fine. LSJDrive.
Hello and welcome to our brand new magazine show, LSJDrive, where we'll be talking about recent news in Lincolnshire on a weekly basis, as well as a quiz and other what's-ons, which will feature sport, new films and events happening within the next week. The time is 10 minutes past 4 and I'm your host, Thomas Moore. Coming up on the show in the next half an hour, our reporter Daisy Rocket tells us why a call has been made for hubs to be introduced for children with special educational needs in schools. Following this, a story on Greater Lincolnshire becoming an official body. Also, Roberto Hollis talks to us about a new partnership between Lincolnshire FA and Coolpack. More on sport, Lincoln City women reached the final of the FA County Cup, and Eleanor will be joining us with her thoughts on the new films in cinema at the moment. A call to action has been made for special educational needs and disability hubs to be introduced to over 10 mainstream schools across Lincolnshire to improve support for pupils. Daisy Rocket reports.
Lincolnshire County Council announced their initiative to help change the Lincolnshire County Council announced their initiative to help change the education system for SEND pupils. The hubs will aid young people with additional needs in mainstream schools and give staff the skills to facilitate them. In September 2023, over 30 SEND families came together to show their support in Castle Square, to stage a rally to raise awareness about the lack of adequate disability support for their children. Lack of spaces and prolonged waiting lists for SEND schools has led parents having to take their children out of school as their learning difficulties were too severe. Corinne Bryan, protest organiser, has advocated autism rights for her children and herself through social media and shared her thoughts on the news.
Well, it's a step in the right direction for sure, and it's going to help so many SEND children and their families. I think it's something that has been needed for a very long time, but I just feel like it's going to support the needs of the children in mainstream schools that maybe are really struggling.
Since the protests, the council has invested £100 million to improve schools, creating 500 additional places. They have hired new staff, enabling more support from specially trained teachers. Andrea Norman, principal of Ermine Academy, was praised by a government body Ofsted for their work with their increasing number of SEND pupils. Andrea gave her response about the hubs.
Tremendous idea. It's a brilliant idea on so many levels, and I think the opportunity to set up SEN hubs means that it will alleviate some of the strain on the special school provision, but more importantly it offers the children specialist education they need, but within their own local community, so they're not having to go out of area, they're not having to travel great distances.
Parents have been urged to share their thoughts about the development of the hubs in their local primary and secondary schools. Currently, the council is seeking more schools across Lincolnshire to support these hubs in order to make schools more inclusive and accessible. They believe that mainstream schools can benefit from using these hubs, including staff and students.
We have a show, we have a quiz. So, let me introduce Quizmaster Kylie. Kylie, what do you have in store for us today?
Well, Thomas, did you know today is National Love Your Pet Day? This is a day dedicated to showing some extra appreciation and love to our furry friends. So, I'm going to quiz you on how much you know about them. So, my first question is, what is the most popular household pet in the UK? I will be back in 15 minutes with the answer.
Okay, I'll have to give that one a thought. Now for the next story. Greater Lincolnshire is now an official body over 50 years since its initial creation. The announcement comes with a new elected mayor and a £700 million investment package. But what does this actually mean for the people of Lincolnshire? And where does most of this money need to go? Alex Strong reports.
Over 50 years ago, Lincolnshire became a ceremonial county, forming from Lindsey, Kesteven and Holland. Over 20 years later, in 1996, the county joined areas of the Humberside region to become the Lincolnshire that we know today. For the last 3 decades, Lincolnshire has operated as 3 separate authorities, but that is all about to change. As part of the new Greater Lincolnshire, over £700 million is set to be invested into the county over the next 30 years, with an initial £28.4 million investment kick-starting the county's new chapter. But what defines a priority scheme? Small business owner and church worker Dean Bell feels that money needs to be put into community work and youth engagement in particular.
When I was growing up as a lad, I used to go to the youth club. Was called The Bench. It was a real hope for me. It kept me engaged, kept me out of crime and doing things that you shouldn't get into.
Time will tell whether this new venture becomes a turning point in Lincolnshire's history, or whether it's a case of the same thing with a new name. The county's increased presence in Westminster could help Lincolnshire get the attention that it needs, but the people of Lincolnshire will want to know where this money is going and whether it will benefit them or not. Alex Strong, LSJ News.
Let's hope that this money can benefit those people in Lincolnshire then, eh? Some of our listeners may have had a tough week at work, so why not let your hair down this weekend and attend a music gig in one of Lincoln's great venues? Giving us his picks for the best gigs happening this week is Joe Jeremy. What gigs should we be looking out for, Joe?
Yeah, so the Victoria behind Lincoln Castle will be hosting Manchester legend Bez for a DJ set on Saturday. The former Happy Mondays member will be hosting a night of Manchester and will be meeting fans before and after the gig. Tickets are £15 and are available on the Victoria's Facebook page.
It would be great to have someone from a huge 90s band, but are there any local artists performing this weekend?
If you like to support local bands, Dirty Sterling are coming down from Scunthorpe tomorrow night to play a set at the Jolly Brewer in Lincoln. Known for their high-energy rock sound, the band will visit Lincoln after the release of their newest single, which came out on Valentine's Day. Jolly Brewer is no stranger to hosting local bands in the pub, so punters can expect to enjoy a night full of music. Tickets are on sale now for £5.
Well, for only £5, I think I might have to go down myself. But is there anything for those looking for a more relaxed night out?
Yeah, the Lawn at the top of Lincoln are hosting an event on Saturday called Rocking in the Blue Room for fans of rock and roll, jive and swing music. The music will be played by UK-based trio Rockingham, who will be playing popular songs from the 50s and beyond. Tickets are £13 if you pre-book on the Lawn's website and £15 on the door.
Well, they all sound like a lot of fun. Thanks, Joe. Lincolnshire FA are trying to reduce the impact of injuries in grassroots football across the county. In an effort to achieve this, they have now formed a commercial partnership with Coolpack, the UK's leading manufacturer of hot and cold therapy products. The question is, will this partnership help to make a difference? Here to tell us more is Roberto Hollis.
I am currently on my way to speak to a senior lecturer in sport therapy and specialist in injuries in sport. It is Mr. Andy Hunt. I'll be speaking to him about the partnership between Lincolnshire FA and Coolpack, and Coolpack will provide various ways of helping football clubs to help with injuries and lessen the impact of these injuries in football clubs. Just entering now. We're just at reception now.
If they're a well-established medical company, they may be able to, fund staff to go on first aid courses through the company. And so if the arrangement can develop and blossom into something where you are training personnel up, increasing first aid awareness, access to equipment that can be used in an emergency situation, then absolutely step in the right direction.
I also spoke to Jake Longworth, Head of Partnerships and Engagement at the Lincolnshire FA, to see what he had to say about the partnership with Coolpack.
We understand as an FA, as a kind of governing body for grassroots football across the county, really, that we've got a duty of care to those clubs, leagues and players across the county, really. The number of injuries that people get playing football across all levels is certainly a risk, and it's quite high. So we want to make sure that we're providing those clubs and leagues and players with kind of the best care available, really. We understood that Coolpack are a really, really well-established business. They are the number one hot and cold therapy organisation within the UK and do a lot of great products, which then we can showcase to all of those clubs and leagues across the county. As I mentioned, we want to make sure they've got the best possible equipment so that they can treat players for any injuries that may occur. Ultimately, we would just want to make sure that they've got the best possible equipment and that we're pointing them in the right direction to kind of, make sure that they're prepared should anything happen on a football pitch. It is a key awareness piece, really. We're now making sure that the team manager or the assistant manager within a team is trained in first aid. It's a non-negotiable. We need to make sure that we're prepared.
It is hoped that in the remainder of this season and the beginning of the next, this partnership between Lincolnshire FA and Coolpack will help prevent injuries and give the skills needed to be prepared for any circumstance.
You are listening to LSJDrive. The time is 20 minutes past 4. Now here's Iona with your news headlines.
The UK and Norway have confirmed their unwavering support in Ukraine's campaign against Russia in a joint statement this afternoon. This is after the US President Donald Trump called Zelensky a dictator. The countries have pledged to enhance their own defences. There are concerns over the pressure put on hospitals as the number of neurovirus patients has reached a record high. Data from NHS England has revealed that on average over 1,000 people a day were in hospital with the bug last week. Increased support for students with additional needs has been called for in Lincolnshire schools. Lincolnshire County Council are hoping to introduce special educational needs and disability hubs. They hope they will support parents, students and staff alike. Lincoln's Steep Hill has been named one of Britain's most beautiful streets. The popular tourist area was chosen by the travel magazine Wanderlust for its historic charm.
Thank you, Iona. Now, it's been a miserable yet surprisingly warm day in Lincoln, but what does the future look like? Here's George Pomonis with the weather.
This afternoon the sun could make an appearance, however as nightfall comes it will be then the clouds that will clear this evening and overnight. The temperature meanwhile will drop to only 10 degrees. Tomorrow we'll see sunny spells, but for most of the day it will be cloudy. However, the big thing will be wind, with it picking up through the day. The temperature, meanwhile, will peak at 15 degrees.
Sounds windy, George. I have to remember my scarf. Now, let's find out how the roads are looking this Thursday afternoon.
Thanks. It's heading to rush hour now, so the roads in Lincoln are getting busier. Wigford Way is closed southbound, causing congestion back onto surrounding roads. Greetwell Road is closed in both directions from the Greetwell Road roundabout to the Outer Circle Road Allenby Road roundabouts. Canwick Road has delays southbound due to roadworks. The bypass, meanwhile, is looking busy between Rugby Road and Greetwell Road in relation to the roadworks. That's the latest.
Thanks, George. George will be back in half an hour with the travel update. It's nearly cup final season again, as both Lincoln City women book their place in a final despite only picking up 1 point all season. Spencer O'Leary has more.
The Lincolnshire FA Women's County Cup finalists have been confirmed, and this season sees a local derby as Lincoln City Women and Lincoln United Women have both made the final. The semi-final stages took place last weekend, with United getting the better of Gainsborough Trinity ladies at home, and as for City, they travelled to Grimsby Borough and the Bradley Football Development Centre as they look to put their spot in the final. They had to do it the hard way though, with a turnaround 3-1 victory after Millie North's free kick for Grimsby Borough found the back of the net. A quick 2-goal turnaround though in the first half from Shelby Morris and Sienna Joel ensured City would have the advantage going into the break. On a cold Lincolnshire afternoon, those in attendance were quick to use the indoor facilities at Grimsby Borough at half-time. The general consensus was that the game was tight and still could go either way. Unlike me, many chose to stay inside and watch the second half from the comfort of the bar, but they would see a late goal from Luciella Crawford, ensuring it was Charlotte Dinsdale's City side who would advance. Following their victory, I caught up with City head coach Charlotte Dinsdale, who was just pleased to get through to the final.
Yeah, they give us a tough competition today. Obviously, I'm really pleased that we've got to got to the final. Obviously we've had a really young team out there, got a couple of injuries, so really pleased that we came out and actually reduced the deficit and obviously took it to 3-1.
After promotion last season, Lincoln United now operate in the same division as City, teasing a tasty final. A date and location for the final will be confirmed by Lincolnshire FA during the week, and City midfielder Shelby Morris is already looking forward to the occasion.
And I think it helps with like the girls training together, they're getting to know each other. I mean, we've got young ones coming in. We did miss Ken today, but they've shown that they can work together and like I said, we dug deep. I think the morale's high. I think we are disappointed in how we played, but we dug deep and we got the goal, so morale's high for the final. I think the girls will go for it.
The current campaign has seen plenty of change for both sides, none more notably than Lee Mitchell, City's head coach from last season, now in the dugout for United. Well, today was City's day at the Bradley Football Development Centre, but will that be the case in the final? Former employee and current head coach at United, Mitchell, will certainly hope not.
15 minutes is up and it's quiz time again. And our quizmaster Kylie wants me to see how good of a porrent I am. Excuse the pun.
Yes, I do. Let me remind you of the first question. What was the most popular dog breed in the UK? What's your guess?
Well, I've been thinking about it a bit between a couple, and I think my final answer is going to be a Labrador.
Yes, the Labrador Retriever is actually the most popular breed in the UK when looking at the registrations through the Kennel Club. It is closely followed by the Cockapoo, which became popular following the pandemic. Now, let's see how well you get on with the next questions. Dogs devote lots of brain power to interpreting smells. A human has around 5 million olfactory receptors. How many do dogs have? I'll be back in 10 minutes for your answer.
Okay, that's a bit of a tough one, but I'll get to thinking. So, what's been happening in Lincoln this week? Well, Lincoln Cathedral opened its doors and presented us with fantastic artwork of light and sound. Time by Lux Murialis took visitors from the present day back to the very beginning of everything, according to its creators. Our reporter, Sam Taylor, went to see what all the fuss was about.
So today I'm going to be visiting the Lux Muralis Light and Sound Show being shown at Lincoln Cathedral. The show is called Time and is supposed to feature lots of immersive artwork showing just that. But before then I must make the long walk up steep hill to make my 7:15 slot. I've made my way into the cathedral now. They've created a one-way system to be able to see the artwork. There really is a unique atmosphere in here, largely down to the really interesting music score that they've chosen. Making my way into the nave of the cathedral now, which has been entirely covered with projections of all kinds of wildlife. I'm going to ask around and see what some other people think.
I'm really enjoying it. It's so cool how they've been able to just use the space of the inside of the cathedral and the light projectors and shadows to just kind of display some really great work. I also think it's just such an amazing space to be in. It's just like an ethereal atmosphere as well, especially with the music combined with just the different visuals. It sits with you.
Lincoln Cathedral really does feel like the perfect kind of environment for this. It's done really well to show the work of some really talented artists, and I'd recommend it to anyone looking for a unique experience.
Well, that sounded like a great event. I wish I went to it now. We'll now hear about what's on at the Lincoln Cinemas with Eleanor Harris.
If you're a fan of rom-coms, then the Odeon Cinema in Lincoln is showing the fourth Bridget Jones movie called Bridget Jones, Mad About the Boy. This movie seems a little darker than the other films, with Bridget having to navigate life as a widow and single mum, with the help of her family, friends and former lover, Daniel. It stars Hugh Grant, Emma Thompson and Renee Zellweger, who plays Bridget Jones. The Independent said that it's the best Bridget Jones sequel yet. Another Marvel movie has just joined the franchise with a new Captain America movie showing in the Odeon Cinema in Lincoln called Captain America Brave New World. After Captain America was last seen as an elderly man at the end of Endgame, he passed his shield to Sam, played by Anthony Mackie, who stars in the new movie as the new Captain America. In this film, Sam finds himself in the middle of an international incident. He must discover the reason behind an evil global plot behind the true mastermind has the entire world seeing red. It stars Anthony Mackie, Harrison Ford, Danny Ramirez, Liv Tyler, and more. Time said that Captain America Brave New World is weirdly a sequel to The Incredible Hulk. A frightening horror movie is also starring at Odeon Cinema in Lincoln called Heart Eyes. This film is about how, over the past several years, the Heart Eyes killer has wreaked havoc on Valentine's Day by stalking and murdering romantic couples. This Valentine's Day, no couple is safe. Directed by Josh Rubin, this movie stars Mason Gooding, Devon Sawa, Olivia Holt, and more. The New York Times called this a romantic comedy feebly masquerading as a horror movie. Sonic the Hedgehog returns to the big screen this holiday season in his most thrilling adventure yet, showing in Lincoln's Odeon Cinema. This is the third Sonic the Hedgehog movie, which the kids will love. Sonic, Knuckles, and Tails reunite against a powerful new rival, Shadow, a mysterious villain with powers unlike anything they have faced before. This is directed by Jeff Fowler and stars Tika Sumpter, Jim Carrey, James Marsden, Adam Pally, Ben Schwartz, and more. IGN says the movies may have started on the wrong foot, but the Sonic the Hedgehog movies appear to be getting better as they go.
Well, with the critiques and stuff that they got from their last movies, let's hope Sonic the Hedgehog can do better this time. Lindham Hockey's survival chances took a blow after a 4-3 home defeat against Loughborough Students. The result leaves the Yellow Submarine 5 points adrift of safety in Division 1 North with only 6 games left of the season. Chris Sebastian reports.
When you're battling against relegation, a clash against a side yet to taste defeat this season is far from ideal. So there was a sense of apprehension before kick-off as Lindham Hockey welcomed unbeaten league leaders Loughborough Students to the Lindham Sports Association. Despite the 24-point gap between the sides in the Division 1 North table, Lindham head coach Stuart Cunnington dismissed any suggestion that this game was a free hit for his side.
We're in a position where we need to get points. You know, yes, they're at the top of the league and they haven't lost a game, but we can't go into any fixture, you know, with that sort of mindset. We're there to take points. You know, that has to be the goal.
After conceding an early goal in the opening quarter, Lindham rallied and put in a spirited performance as they came from behind on 2 occasions to peg back the visitors. Sam Dixon scored twice from penalty corners to take his goal tally to double figures this season. At 2-2 in the final quarter, the momentum seemed to be with the Yellow Submarine, but 2 quick-fire goals in as many minutes were enough for Loughborough to claim 3 points, despite a late hat-trick sealing goal from Dixon. It was certainly a day of mixed emotions for Lindham's top scorer, but he's still optimistic that they can avoid relegation this season.
We'll carry on for the weeks to come and hopefully we can scrap and get some of those points back at the against those sort of lower side and mid-table sides, and I think we're hopeful that we can sort of climb our way out of the relegation places.
For Stuart Cunnington, it felt like a familiar theme this season of a good performance not being converted into points.
We certainly looked the better team, created the more chances. Unfortunately, we kind of, when we scored and equalised, we switched off a little bit and kind of let themselves back in. We need to kind of keep the momentum. You know, once we've scored, we need to keep that going.
With only 6 games remaining of the season, next weekend's trip to Brooklyn's Manchester University feels like a must-win game for Lindham if they are to keep their faint survival hopes alive.
Now, with the time at 33 minutes past 4, here's Iona with your news headlines.
Israel's hearts lie in tatters after the bodies of 4 hostages have been returned by Hamas. The bodies are suspected to include a mother and her young children. 6 living hostages are due to be freed from Gaza on Saturday. The suspect in the Valentine's Day shooting is believed to be dead. Lisa Smith, 43, was shot outside a pub in Knockholt on the 14th of February. Kemp believes her suspected killer has died after falling into the River Thames. The plans for a nuclear waste dump to be built in Theddlethorpe, Lincolnshire, have been put on hold. East Lindsey District Council leader Craig Leyland has urged his executive to withdraw from the process. Greater Lincolnshire is now an official body after its creation 50 years ago. This makes it a combined authority with a newly elected mayor. There is also an investment package of £700 million.
You are joining us on LSJDrive, and I'm your host, Thomas Moore. And we have an exciting half an hour in store for you, including Jack Mooney tells us plans for a nuclear waste dump to be built has been put on hold. We will hear the thoughts of Lincoln City boss Michael Skubala following their 3-0 win against local rivals Mansfield Town. Lincoln City's Steep Hill has been named the most beautiful street in Britain for 2025. And then finally, for you sports lovers, Ben will be joining us for this week's sports review. For now, here's our reporter Cameron Smith with all the sports news.
Lincoln City breezed past out-of-form Mansfield Town with a convincing win at the One Call Stadium. Skubala's changes made all the difference in the second half as midfielders Sam Clucas and Dom Jeffries secured the win. The Welshman was delighted with the team's fight after a disappointing defeat to Leyton Orient at the weekend, but praised them for bouncing back so well from the game after conceding late. Former Spanish FA President Luis Rubiales has been found guilty of sexually assaulting Jenny Hermoso when he kissed her without consent at the 2023 Women's World Cup. The Spanish court has given Rubiales an 18-month fine equating to €20 a day or €10,940 in total, and a 200 metres restraining order along with no communication for a year. The 47-year-old was accused of forcing Hermoso into saying the kiss was consensual, but has had his charges dropped for this. Skegness has welcomed UEFA licensed coaches from a Liverpool FC community coach to a new football camp in the half-term holidays. Jack Walton is a former Skegness student who has always wanted to bring his skills back to the local area and has now made his dream come true, with over 30 youngsters taking part. This isn't just a one-time experience as Jack aims to return in the Easter break as he continues his casual community coaching role with LFC Foundation. World number 2 Iga Swiatek has been shocked by Mira Andreeva as a 17-year-old Russian is the youngest player to reach the semi-final of the Dubai Tennis Championships. Superb fight was shown by Andreeva as she won 5 straight games to defeat the 5-time Grand Slam winner to secure a 6-3, 6-3 victory. The youngster is certainly one to watch as she has now beaten both the world's top 2 ranked players in the last 12 months, despite being really nervous before the match as she lost to Swiatek in Cincinnati last year. Rangers' takeover with San Francisco 49ers could be nearing completion between April and June. A broad agreement is in place with all parties as the new owners are set to acquire more than 50% of the Rangers' shares, whilst taking on debt caused by former chairman John Bennett. Leeds United chairman Parag Marathe is a key player in negotiations and the force behind the 49ers investment wing, with another unnamed investor said to be as influential in the deal.
Thanks, Cameron. Plans for a nuclear waste dump to be built in Theddlethorpe have been put on hold. East Lindsey District Council leader, Councillor Craig Leyland, has urged his executive to withdraw from the process. But what will happen next? Here is Jack Mooney to tell us more.
We usually see holes being drilled into the ground whenever roadworks are taking place. But what about a giant hole of 4 kilometres squared just to dump nuclear waste in? Plans made by the Nuclear Waste Service to build a dump in Theddlethorpe have been put on hold following a statement from the leader of the East Lindsey District Council. Councillor Craig Leyland has urged his executive to unanimously withdraw from the process following alterations to the original proposal put forward to them in 2021. Secretary of the Nuclear Free Local Authorities, Richard Outram, tells us more about the proposal put forward to the council.
The original proposal they had with Nuclear Waste Services was to invite them to investigate the suitability of the gas terminal. Once they chose to move away from that, the council obviously used that as an opportunity to redetermine whether they felt they were still able to continue with the process, and have decided that given that it's now an agricultural site, it's inappropriate to do so.
And he appears to agree with the decision of Councillor Leyland.
My view on that is, I can understand that because one, it's a different proposition than it originally was, but also two, I can't see how the council could support a proposal to develop a large-scale construction project on an agricultural site when its position is to oppose solar farms and wind turbines being built on similar land.
The new proposal would see a nuclear waste dump being placed between Gayton Le Marsh and Great Carlton. The dump would be placed on a 4 kilometre squared parcel of greenfield land near the Lincolnshire Wolds, a stark contrast from the brownfield area of the Thedlethorpe dump. However, the process may still be in motion if Lincolnshire County Council do not back East Lindsey's decision.
It doesn't derail the whole process because Lincolnshire is still engaged as a relevant principal local authority. So the consideration then is whether Lincolnshire might choose to withdraw as well, given it has a similar view on the development of agricultural land for energy projects.
Right, and now back to my favourite part of the show, the quiz. So, Kylie, this has been racking up my brain. So can you repeat the question for me, please?
Let me remind you of the question then. Dogs devote lots of brain power to interpreting smells. A human has around 5 million olfactory receptors. How many do dogs have?
Well,
Thomas, what's your guess on this one?
it did take me a bit of time to, think of what those words mean in your question, but I think my answer is going to be 50 million.
Incredibly, dogs have up to 300 million smell receptors in their noses. Their sense of smell is more developed and complex than that of a human and is believed to be up to 10 times more sensitive. Now, for my final question. How many muscles do cats have in each ear? See you soon for the answer.
Well, I hope to get that one right, so I can end on a positive note. So, next up. Lincoln City manager Michael Skubala spoke to the press on Tuesday night, alongside goalscorer Dom Jeffries, as the Imps cruised their way to a 3-0 victory over local rivals Mansfield Town. Finlay Smithson has more.
Recently, for Lincoln City fans, the full-time whistle has left a lot to be desired on the pitch. But Tuesday night was a different story. Goals from captain Paudie O'Connor, homegrown talent Sam Clucas and wing-back Dom Jeffries secured a comfortable 3-0 win against local rivals Mansfield Town. It was City's second win over the Stags this season, beating them 4-1 at the LNER Stadium back in August. Whilst Lincoln can celebrate the win, it's safe to say that they haven't been in the best form. Tuesday night was just Lincoln's second win in 6 games, with their last on the 25th of January in a 5-1 win over Peterborough. They've since lost 2 and drawn the other 2. This has put Lincoln down to 10th in the league, with all the teams around them having played 1 game less. Lincoln City manager Michael Skubala spoke after the game of how happy he is with how his side dealt with Mansfield's random play style.
After we changed the structure and we got a press right and we got a jumping right and how they want to play, they're quite roam and they're random, so it's quite hard to work out. But when we covered the pitch well and what we did, I thought that we were just without the ball really solid, and then when it turned over we could get some more passes and control and get up the pitch, and then I think it was a 3rd goal which was great.
City were backed by 1,500 travelling fans, which Skubala said was fantastic, especially when they can watch their side get such an important win after a big performance. He must feel as though the fans deserve it, as they consistently bring a strong support no matter where they are in the country. Skubala was joined by goalscorer Dom Jeffries, who spoke about how well Lincoln defended and that they were possibly more clinical when it came to it on the day.
You can have 10, 20, 30, 40, 80% possession. Doesn't matter if you take your chances, you might only have 3 shots in the game and score 3 goals and you win the game 3-0. And that just shows the fight and the desire we got as a team. And tonight we're in stages in the game with 20 minutes where we might not have touched the ball as much as we like, but we're just digging for each other, and in the end we got the result we really wanted.
Next up for the Imps is a home tie against strugglers Burton Albion, with Lincoln hoping they can secure themselves as playoff chasers once again, currently sitting 10 points behind Leyton Orient, who hold the final playoff spot.
If you're not feeling like going to gigs or the cinema, there's lots of other events going on this week. There is truly something going on for everyone. Here is our weekly guide to what events are on, is Carolina Madai. What's going on this weekend?
If you're looking for something to kickstart the weekend for everyone to enjoy, Lincoln Lights is on today and tomorrow. This is a showcase of light installations made by artists from all over the UK. It's on from 5:30 p.m. to 9 p.m. all throughout Lincoln City Centre, from Castle Hill to Lincoln High Street to Cornhill. It is a brand new event for 2025 in Lincoln, and it is free for anyone to enjoy.
Now that sounds like a great way to brighten up a cold February evening. What about those who can't make it to Lincoln?
Gainsborough will also be lit up this Friday from 6 to 8 p.m. It is the Illuminate Gainsborough event at Gainsborough Old Hall, which is free for everyone to attend. The theme for this year is Postcards from Gainsborough, projecting postcards made by local school children. If you enjoy arts and crafts, there will also be workshops for anyone to attend just before the event to make your own lanterns.
That sounds great, but as someone who likes to stay inside, what is there for someone like me to do?
Well, for those looking for a new wardrobe to prepare for the spring, the Worth the Wait Kilo Sale is back in Lincoln. The Vintage Kilo Sale is a favourite in Lincoln and will take place in the engine shed on the university campus. It is taking place this Sunday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. with entry tickets as cheap as £2 and free entry for children under 12. If you're eager to grab onto the best bids before anyone else, early bird entry tickets are available for £3. This is a great, affordable way to shop sustainably. You can shop as much or as little as you want for £20 per kilogram, with larger items like coats capped at the exact same price.
So we've covered Thursday, Friday and Sunday, but what about Saturday?
A quite unique event is happening in Lincoln this Saturday. For the first time ever, the Lincolnshire Card Show will be hosted on Bishop Grosseteste University grounds. It is an event hosted for all card holders, so if you're collecting Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Magic the Gathering, football cards or any other trading game cards, you're more than welcome. It is the first ever event of its kind in Lincoln, and the tickets are as little as £9 per person. It is a great chance to buy or trade unique cards and play your favourite trading game and show off your own cards.
That sounds great. I think I'll go see the lights or maybe go to the Vintage Kilo Sale, but last time I went I couldn't really find anything that I liked. But thank you anyway, Carolina. The University of Lincoln darts side are eyeing up their first ever trophy with a spot in the semi-final of a cup competition up for grabs next Wednesday. Just 4 years after forming and a mere year from finishing bottom of the league, can they complete the major turnaround and complete the underdog story? Ahead of their trip to Yorkshire, Jamie Chick has more.
The University of Lincoln darts team have entered uncharted territory as they prepare for their big clash in the Cup quarter-final against York on Wednesday. The aptly named Swans are into the last day of the inaugural Challenge Cup, hoping to become the first team to get their hands on the title, with man of the match from last game, Adam West, confident heading into the fixture.
Well, when I joined the society, I was not expecting this, but obviously we've overcome our challenges, we've gotten better, we've improved as darts players overall and as people overall, and I think we can come together as a team and say we've done that together, and I think it's something we should all be very proud of.
After overcoming tough fixtures against Midland side Gloucestershire and Birmingham, Lincoln find themselves just 3 wins away from glory. But no matter the outcome, West is proud of what the side have achieved so far.
I reckon we can go all the way. Hopefully, York is obviously a challenge, but every team we've faced is a challenge. So, you just got to keep our hopes up there, keep going at it, and then hopefully we'll make it.
Lincoln cruelly lost out in the national final just 2 years ago, and after a turbulent 23-24 season, are looking to get back on track and add their first piece of silverware to their mantelpiece since forming. Jamie Chick, LSJ News.
You are listening to LSJDrive. The time is 12 minutes to 5. Now here's Iona with your news headlines.
The Army's handling of a teenage girl's sexual assault complaint played a part in her death, says coroner. Jaisley Beck, 19, was found dead in Larkhill Camp in Wiltshire in December 2021. The inquest concluded that the cause of her death was suicide. There are concerns over the pressure put on hospitals as the number of neurovirus patients has reached a record high. Data from NHS England has revealed that on average over 1,000 people a day were in hospital with the bug last week. Increased support for students with additional needs has been called for in Lincolnshire schools. Lincolnshire County Council are hoping to introduce special educational needs and disability hubs. They hope they will support parents, students and staff alike. One Lincoln business has decided to move to a 4-day week. Sam Robb, the founder of Almond Financial hopes that this tactic will attract the most talented staff in a competitive industry. More than 200 companies nationwide have committed to the idea, say the 4-Day Week Foundation.
Now, it's been miserable yet surprisingly warm today in Lincoln. But what does the future look like? Here's George Pomonis with the weather.
This afternoon the sun could make an appearance, however as nightfall comes it will be then the clouds that will make an appearance will clear this evening and overnight. The temperature meanwhile will drop to only 10 degrees. Tomorrow we'll see some sunny spells, but for most of the day it will be cloudy. However, the big thing will be wind, with it picking up through the day. The temperature meanwhile will peak at 15 degrees.
Wow. 15 degrees is making me think that we're about to be in spring and summertime again, which is exciting. But now let's find out how the roads are looking this Thursday afternoon.
It is heading to rush hour now, so the roads in Lincoln are getting busier. Wigford Way is closed southbound, causing congestion back onto surrounding roads. Greetwell Road is closed in both directions, from Greetwell Road roundabout to the Outer Circle Road, Allenby Road roundabouts. Canwick Road has delays southbound due to roadworks. The bypass is looking busy between Ragby Road and Greetwell Road roundabouts in relation to the roadworks. That's the latest.
Well, it's a good thing that I don't drive and I can walk home. Lincoln's historic Steep Hill has been named one of Britain's most beautiful streets. It was chosen by travel magazine Wanderlust for its historic charms. Emily Gisborne went to find out more.
Steep Hill has been a favourite among locals, with its steep cobbled slope, quirky shops and breathtaking views of Lincoln Cathedral. But now it's gaining national recognition. Yesterday, Wanderlust Travel magazine named it one of the UK's most beautiful streets in their annual awards. For local businesses, the timing couldn't be better, with the summer tourist season just around the corner. Here is Sarah, a local shop owner.
This is such exciting news for Steep Hill and for Lincoln. We've always known how special this street is, but now the whole country knows too. With the summer holidays just around the corner, this award couldn't have come at a better time. It's a real boost for business and puts Lincoln firmly on the map as a must-see visit destination.
The award has already been welcomed by Lincoln's tourism officials, who say it highlights the city's unique blend of history and charm. With plans for a summer celebration on Steep Hill already in the works, it seems this award is just the beginning. This is Emily Gisborne and I'm reporting from Steep Hill, Lincoln.
Steep Hill may have got an award, but I still don't want to climb it because I'm slightly unfit, so maybe I need to get my cardio up a little bit. But now we move on to the world of sport with our paper review. Joining me to tell us all about the local paper's most interesting sports stories is Ben Elms. What have you found, Ben?
Lincolnshire World has published a review of the current Vanarama National League season this morning, following Boston United's 2-1 victory over AFC Fylde on Tuesday. The headline reads, "Here's who's in form and who's in free fall as we approach the business end of the National League season." More content regarding Boston United and other local clubs can be found on the Lincolnshire World Facebook page. Grimsby Live has released an article under the headline, "D-Day for the £1.5 million 3G pitch looms as opponents aim to find an alternative site." East Lindsey District Council is aiming to build the new pitch next to the Wood Lane Leisure Centre in Louth and create over 90 new car parking spaces. The plans have been met with on-site protests, however, as the council's plans involve building over the location's current grass pitch. Leader of the Save Wood Lane campaign group, James Timpson, says councillors are promoting the destruction of Louth's green spaces when other sites are available. Another headline from Lincolnshire World reads, "Grassroots sports in the East Midlands calls for extra assists to avoid an own goal." New data from the charity Sported has revealed that 62% of sports groups in the East Midlands believe that the area does not see enough government investment into grassroots sport. Sarah Kay, CEO of Sported, said, "Grassroots clubs do not always get the recognition they deserve from the government in creating real opportunities for our young people." Finally, BBC Look North has reported today that boxer Gemma Richardson from Scunthorpe is preparing for her first professional fight next month. the 24-year-old spoke candidly in an interview with the BBC about the various forms of prejudice that she has experienced as a woman in boxing. Gemma won a silver medal in the 2022 Commonwealth Games and is set to make her professional boxing debut on the 8th of March.
As a sport lover myself, that was really interesting stuff. That's our review of the local sport headlines with Ben Elms. Thanks, Ben. So, how did you spend your Valentine's Day this year? Well, Cornhill Market, situated in Lincoln Square, gave us the perfect way to celebrate with the people we love. From the 5th to the 14th of February, the market hosted a range of Valentine-themed stalls and workshops. The market said the event was a success after introducing interactive pop-ups like a cookie-making machine and a love board. It attracted many people and students of Cornhill. This is a taste of some of the events still to come throughout the year. Anna Gonzalez reports.
In light of Valentine's Day, Cornhill Market has been spreading a lot of love in the past 2 weeks. Rebecca Taylor, Cornhill's market manager, said it has been a success after entertaining people with stalls and pop-ups. This included jewellery stalls, sweet stalls, a cookie-making station, balloons and much more.
I mean, on Saturday it was really busy, so Corner Farm did a cookie decorating workshop down here in the market hall, which was really successful, and they're doing that again this Saturday, and also going to be organising a few more events like that for Mother's Day and Easter. So yeah, it has brought people in, especially the sweet treats.
Selena, the stallholder for Bubble Kiss, came up with the idea of a love board, which was displayed in the market alongside everything else. This gave people the chance to share quotes and write down messages for loved ones to stick up.
This is a very important event, especially for the young people in Lincoln. So we try to create some event, just like holding a board in the market. You can take a look later. Then some people leave them, some couples maybe leave the message on the board. Then it looks like full of love in Lincoln, especially within the Cornhill Market.
After the amount of engagement and attention Cornhill Market attracted with Valentine's Day, they have promised more themed events. Some to look forward to include stalls and pop-ups for Mother's Day, Easter and summer. Stallholders will also be offering university student discounts for these particular events, which will help out the business and get students involved, as well as other Lincoln citizens.
The immersive light exhibition, Time, by Lux Muriales lit up Lincoln Cathedral this past weekend. The show attracted people of all ages to the city, with the event manager at the cathedral hoping the exhibition will encourage people to explore future events. Isabel Ames reports.
Lincoln is a city rich in history, and this Valentine weekend, Lincoln's medieval cathedral was illuminated by the immersive light and sound show created by the artistic collaboration of Lux Morales. With bright lights soaring across the grand Gothic cathedral walls, audiences were entranced and transported on a journey throughout time. Leslie Kirridge organises and manages events put on in collaboration with Lincoln Cathedral. She told me how important such events are in bringing the community together and inspiring change.
And this year is the theme of time, in all of its kind of innovations. Time, historical time that we're perhaps running a bit out of on the planet. So it's something to make people think.
With over 7,500 people expected to have attended the exhibition, audiences were encouraged to take their time, truly embracing the wonder of the illuminations and listening to the dramatic recorded narrations which guided visitors throughout the evening. Kirridge emphasised how this event is for everyone and carries great importance in showcasing all that Lincoln has to offer.
Time, which changes people, does not alter the image we have retained of them.
So I hope that people find it enjoyable, that it's something accessible for everyone, for children, for adults, for everyone, and I hope that might make them look at what else there is about in Lincoln.
As I made my way through the cathedral, I noticed how in awe everyone there was. People stood, sat, or even lay down on the cathedral floor silently, their attention fixated on the beauty and grandeur of the cathedral, which certainly made for a terrific canvas. After leaving the event, I spoke to couple Phil and Sue Ambler, the three of us disappointed to have to return to the dark cold night. They told me how they had never been to such an exhibition before, but wanted to try something new.
Fed up with this time of the year and just wanted to do something different, I think.
Yeah, and I'm retired, and sometimes it's too easy to just stay at home and watch telly. So sort of just made the effort, but it was certainly worth it.
With plenty more events coming to the city, Time by Lux Morales is a reminder of the importance art and culture has on bringing communities together, while simultaneously celebrating Lincoln's rich historic past.
Kylie is now back with the final question for the quiz, and we are eager to know the answer.
Hold your horses, Tom. This afternoon I've been quizzing you on your pet knowledges as it's National Love Your Pet Day. My final question was, how many muscles do cats have in each ear? Now, if you get this wrong, you will have a penalty, so choose wisely. So, what's your final answer, Thomas?
Once again, I've been thinking a lot, and I think I'm going to go probably a bit too high, but I'm going to go for 35.
No, it's actually 32. There are 32 muscles in a cat's ear, and each position and movement expresses a broad range of feline moods and emotions. Thomas, as you got less than half right, you now have to say your goodbyes in song.
Right, okay. Well, I apologise to all the listeners for having to hear this horrific rendition of me saying goodbye, but here we go. Oh, I can't believe I'm doing this. Well, thanks for listening to the first edition of LSJDrive. We'll be back with more at the same time next week. See you then.
LSJDrive.